Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Julian Angelov, and today I'm gonna tell you how to make perfumes at home like a real professional perfumer. This video is composed of two chapters. The first chapter is materials and the second chapter is formulation and creating the perfume. So I wrote some notes because I don't want to forget something. So you please excuse me if I read sometimes the notes from here. First, let's dive in. In order to make professional perfumes at home, you're gonna need a lot of things. First, you're gonna need small bottles, like this one, for example. This is 10 milliliters. You're gonna need like at least 20 in the beginning to start with. Second, you're gonna need paper strips like this one to smell your creation. Third, you're gonna need a beaker like this one to put all your materials inside. Fourth, you're gonna need a scale. So this is the one I'm using. I have a bigger one. This is the one I'm using here because it's smaller. So about the scale, please, if you start buying scales, make sure that the scales is about thousands. For example, it must be 0.20 grams, so it must count on thousands. And very important, please find a scale that weighs more than 500 grams. Otherwise, this is heavy. And when you put it and you put stuff inside, the scale is gonna block, not gonna work properly. What else? The most important things that you're gonna need is raw ingredients, essential oils, like patchouli essential oil, for example, benzoin essential oil, or ylang-ylang essential oil, or bergamot essential oil. And if you want to make like real professional perfumes, you're gonna need some synthetic aroma molecules. So I have a lot here, but this is not everything I have. I have more than 500 in my laboratory in the other room. How much you're gonna need in the beginning? So you need minimum 30 raw materials, essential oils, and synthetics combined. If you want to achieve something, a professional perfumer like Jean-CLAUDE ELLENA'S, who created also Terre d'Hermès, he worked also for the house like Hermès in Paris. He has a list of 200 ingredients that he's using. So if you have 200 ingredients already, it's perfect for you. So this is enough to start and make amazing creations, amazing smelling perfumes at home. So let's start now with the creation of your perfume. First things is the formulating. So it's very important to know that there are two main types of perfumes. The first one is called linear perfume, which means it smells the same since the beginning to the end, which means that when you spray it on your skin and after 5 or 3 or 4 hours, after all the evaporation, it keeps the same smell constantly. And this is because the ingredients inside are from the same note material. For example, many colognes smell the same from the beginning till the end, which means they have only one type of notes inside or different notes with the same evaporation level, and this is very important. If you want to create linear perfumes, you need to select ingredients that have similar evaporation level. So most simple is to have only top notes, only middle notes, or only bottom notes. The problem with the bottom notes is that you don't have enough projection and diffusion of the bottom notes. They last longer, but it's missing the diffusion. The hard notes, they have diffusion, they have radiance, but they don't last long. And the top notes, they just have a diffusion and they disappear after 15 to 20 minutes. So creating a linear perfume, it's not an easy task, but if you want something simple to use 4 or 5 ingredients, you can make at home easily, very easily, a linear perfume. Very important thing I already forgot to tell you, you're gonna need also denaturated alcohol, ethanol, or also dipropylene glycol, DPG, for your dilutions of your fragrances. And also, the most important thing you're gonna need is perfume notebook where you have to write your perfume. This is very, very important. So it's very difficult to find on the market specifically designed one that you can write your formulas. That's why I created my own, and now it's available. Also, I put it in Amazon. You can find it in any country. You can find it in Amazon. Everywhere in the world. It's very easy, shipping is perfect. In this one I'm going to show you in details now in the video. It's designated specifically to write your perfumes like a professional. I have two. This is the hard cover and this is the soft cover, which is a little bit cheaper, but it's available in Amazon. Anyway, yes, let's go to the formulating. Okay, so very important thing I have to tell you, if you want to make perfumes at home like a professional, and what I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna save you 2 years of perfumer school and a lot of money. You cannot find this information in internet because professionals that they don't want to share this, but I'm gonna tell you about this right now because you needed to know this in order to make professional perfumes at home. There are 3 main notes, or at least what people tell you, what kind of information you find on the internet. You have top notes, you have middle notes, hard notes, or bottom notes, and those notes depend on their evaporation level. But besides those 3 types of notes, there are also blenders and modifiers and fixators. I told this in one previous video, but if you're new, I'm going to tell it again. Modifiers are ingredients that don't have bigger odor impact or longevity, but they tend to put additional smell to your fragrance without completely to change the entire heart direction of your fragrance. So for the modifiers, you need to put just a little bit and they have to be diluted. If you put drops, 3 to 5 drops and 2 to 3 different modifiers. Blenders. Blenders, they blend the 3 main notes together, the top note, the middle note, and the bottom note. Otherwise, if you make a fragrance, you're going to be having a gap between those 3 notes. They're not going to blend perfectly together. If you use blenders, you're going to have one amazing rounded professional creation that smells amazingly. And blenders can be materials of low impact, odor impact, but they blend all the other notes together. One perfect example of blender is Bergamot. It's amazing blender for citruses. Also linalool, it's amazing blenders. Also benzyl benzoate, it's another amazing blender. And then after you put I'm gonna tell you the process, but you're gonna need also fixators, or those are materials that make your fragrance to last longer and they make it to be absolutely smelling professionally, with radiance, with roundness, and they keep all the good ingredients, they enhance the other ingredients inside. Those are the fixators. So formulating. We talk about the linear fragrance, but now which is much more important is to create a fragrance that changes over time. From the moment you spray it on your skin, and after the last smell, it changes completely. It passes through the top notes in the beginning, middle notes, and finish with the last bottom notes. What is very important here for that fragrance is that all the notes are blended together perfectly and that last longer. People say, professionals say, well, there is no wrong perfume, depends of your aesthetical taste or preferences of a smell, but there's something very important that you have to know. Very two conditions that a perfume should meet, in my opinion, is to have amazing radiance, for example, to smell it from far, and to last longer. And this is not very easy to achieve, but if you follow my process, you're going to be able to achieve this, to make an amazing radiance and to last longer. How we proceed with the formulating of your fragrance. First, it's very important to have a concept about what kind of perfume you want to create. And you're going to start with the hearts, which are the middle notes of your perfumes. For example, you want to create a perfume that smells like flower rose, or like wood, or like citruses. So the main theme of your fragrance is, for example, flowers. This is how your perfume should smell, like an entire perfume, like a round finished product. It's gonna be under flower family. So that's why you have to start first with the materials that are like flowers. For example, you can use synthetic molecules that reproduce lily of the valley or French muguet. You can use rose. You can use also something that is like iris or jasmine absolute. Jasmine absolute now is restricted, but you can still use a little bit. So the point is that first you're going to start with the heart of your perfume. Then, this is not enough. In order to make it more interesting, to make it more fun, to make it more modern, you have to put some top notes, or you have to use some modifiers. So for example, you put essential oil of rose, which is very expensive, I don't recommend, but you can dilute that. Then you have to put a top note, because rose is a middle note. You have to put some top note that's going to give another interesting dimension to the fragrance. You're going to put a modifier. So here I have another video about all the blenders, modifiers and fixators. But if you have to put a modifier, you have to put 2 to 3 maximum modifiers in very small amounts. And not if you put more modifiers, the modifier is going to become the heart of your problem, and we don't want that. So that's why we said first heart note, then top notes or modifiers. So we want to have fresh note. You have rose, you put some citrus, you can put some orange essential oil inside. Orange essential oil have these amazing things that make all the perfume to be extended or expanded and make it much more larger and projector is higher. So you can put citrus, which is all the citruses are top note. You have the rose already, and now you have to choose your bottom ingredient. So most of the musks are bottom notes, base notes, because they are heavy molecules and they last longer. Vanilla, you can use vanilla to make it last longer if you want to make something gourmand and sweet. You can use a musk, 2-3 musks. For example, you can use tonalite. You can use another musk. You can use also galaxolite. You can use also ethylene brassylate. It's amazing musk with amazing tenacity, and it makes enhance also all other ingredients from the bottom to the heart. So my recommendation, if you want something to last longer, use ethylene brassylate. It's amazing musk, and it's going to give you enhancement of all other fragrances. And yes, first heart, then modifiers, then blenders. And the blenders are bergamot oil and linalool. Benzyl benzoate, it's a blender to blend everything together. Depends of what kind of direction. If you want to use to make a fragrance that is woody, you're gonna use some woody kind of blender like Vertenex, for example. It's gonna blend amazingly citruses with wood, or flowers with wood and citrus. Vertenex is a very good blender. Benzyl benzoate is another blender. Linalool and bergamot are mandatory to blend everything together. And then after the blenders, you can use the bottom, the base notes, and after the base notes, you can also add the fixators. I'm gonna repeat this again. First heart, then top notes and modifiers, then blender, then bottom notes, blenders, and fixators. Okay, this is the structure how to create a real professional fragrance. After you create your fragrance, you need to write, or in the middle of the process, you need to write diligently your formulas here, because imagine you create something that smells amazingly and you didn't write it, and how you're going to reproduce it again. So it's difficult. That's why you have to write during the process. You put rose essential oil here, the drops. So here in the beginning you can use some drops system, but bear in mind all the ingredients have different weight. Alcohol, a drop of alcohol weighs 0.014 grams. A drop of benzoin, which is very thick, I'll show it on the other time, weighs 0.038 grams. So you see the difference here. If you want to make after a professional batch in big quantities, you need to use metrics and to weight the grams correctly. If you want to make experiments and you make small batches, like 100 grams, 50 grams of perfume, you can use still the drops to make them. But one day, if you want to make producement of 1 liter of something, you need to write your formula correctly in grams and in thousands. You put your ingredients, you put how much you put here. For example, rose, you put 0.100 grams. You list all the ingredients here. At the end, you calculate how much is the total amount of weight. This is important. it's not mandatory to be equal to 10 or to 1100, because when you start your experimentation, you cannot know how much you're going to put of this and that in order to make 10. But when you calculate all the ingredients inside, for example, and the total is 3.8, you have to convert this to 10 if you want to make easily production in the future. That's why my recommendation is here, it's make it easy for conversion to 10. Make it 2.5 grams in the beginning of the liquid juice inside, or make it 5 grams or 10 grams in the beginning. If you make it 10 grams, it's much more easier to make 1 liter of this. And you know the minimum of more the manufacturer, it's 1 liter. If you make 2.5, well, you multiply this until it's 10, and then you put another 0, it's easy to make 1 liter again. So this is my recommendation. And when you have all the mixture inside, you smell the mixture on a test. This is your juice. You smell it and you wait to see. You can put in the skin a little bit. I don't recommend that because this is not diluted materials. So you just smell it, you add more materials, and when you think it's ready, you can pour this in a bottle like this. I recommend you to have bottles of 50 milliliters and bottles of 100 milliliters. Again, when your juice is ready and you have all the formula done, you're not gonna change anything. You calculate the total weight, you put this in a bottle like this, and you put a label. Very important, look, mine have a label here. You put a label, read the name, and you can put a date. This is very important for maceration period, that it's between minimum 2 weeks. Must stay in the bottle, because after it's inside, all the ingredients going to continue to mix together and to react together in order to blend together in its time. That's why you put a date, because you're going to know if your perfume is already ready, macerated inside enough. When it's inside macerated, then you can dilute it to a different perfume volume you want. For example, you want to have a perfume which is 20 to 30% of your juice and the rest is alcohol. You want it toilet perfume water, it's 15 to 20%. You want it cologne, it's 2 to 5%, depends what kind of format you want to make. So we have to dilute the juice with alcohol when it's done. And that's it. That's not you don't need to be a genius to make perfumes. You don't need to be like a chemist to make perfumes. You need to have knowledge. Now going into a perfumer school is very expensive and very selective, so not everyone can enter inside, and there are very few prestigious perfume schools in Paris, in Grasse. People first study chemistry, and after the second, third year, they make a master in perfumery. The problem here, these people who study chemistry, they don't have enough creative talent, but they are perfectly technical. In order to be a good perfumist or perfumer, I think you need to have a very imaginative, to be very imaginative, to be creative, to know your materials, what you're using. But of course, this is not enough to sell perfumes. What is after your creation, in order to sell it, it's a lot of work of concept. What is the selling point of the perfume? It's the entire concept. And one amazing smelling fragrance is going to help you, but it's not enough to sell a nice perfume if you want to make a business with this. And by the way, I'm preparing my own perfume line. I have 3 different perfumes already done. Soon they're gonna be on the market. I'm ready and I'm preparing everything. It takes time, but it's very important for people who want to know to do this as a business, that you need a whole entire market of your fragrance and to know what you are selling, because the nice smelling perfume juice, unfortunately, it's not enough to make a big successful business. It's very important also the packaging, the strategy, what are you selling. Everything must be coherent and with nice concept, and you need to know what is your selling point. But this is another point of discussion. Anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful for you to know how to make perfume at home and what is the process, the creation, how to do it. And once you understand the blenders and the modifiers and the fixators, you can make everything you want. You can make an amazing smelling fragrance that lasts for days. But you don't want something to last for days, because you want people to miss the smell a little bit. So I think, from my experience, something that lasts between 4 to 6 hours, it's more than enough. Even from 2 to 4 to 5 hours, it's perfectly fine. You don't need something that lasts forever. So I made something before and I put it here and I went to have a shower. I took a shower and after the shower it was still smelling. So we don't want that. You want something that is moderately long lasting. 6 hours, 4 hours, it's perfect. If you achieve to make something that lasts 4 hours, you're ready. Now, if you go to the market, to the department store, you buy something, I'm so tired, they all smell the same and they're boring, and you put spray it and it lasts you 1 hour and after disappears completely, and you pay 300 euros for what? So this makes me angry. That's why I decided to make my own fragrances with amazing projection. They're not going to be super expensive. They're going to be normal, accessible, costly, luxurious fragrance with radiance and long-lasting effect that's going to last 6 to 8 hours. And they're going to be creative and unique, which is the selling point. Thank you very much for staying with me until the end. Please, I'm going to be happy if you subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to give free samples, giveaway of my fragrances, because people, I want you to tell me what you think when you smell my fragrances. I want your opinion. So subscribe. I'm going to let you know when everything is done, so I can send you free by the post to some of you. I can send you a sample of my fragrances. And of course, this is, I'm going to show you again, available in Amazon in every country if you want to write professionally your perfume formula. Hope to see you soon, guys. I'm preparing other videos. I make also content as a perfume reviewer. A lot of fun. I'm laughing a lot. So yes, hope to see you soon there. Kisses.